Hello everyone, my name is Puru Pathak and today we'll be doing a fairly simple program which is finding pairs in an unsorted array such that the difference between all these pairs is same. By that I mean is, for instance, if you take an array like 2, 3, 1, 4, then we should get something like this. Oh, of course, we need to take the difference. So for instance, if let's consider the difference which we take from the user is maybe 1, then we should get something like this: 2, 3, then 3, 2, maybe 1, 2, 2, 1. So these are all the pairs which should be obtained. We shouldn't get something like 2, 2. This is wrong because here in this case the difference is 0. However, we want 1, so this would be a wrong pair which will be retrieved. So let's begin. This is fairly simple. It's pretty simple, I would say, but it's quite frequently asked in the interviews. I'm amused how. But the logic behind this, even if you eventually, in the first instance, even if you feel it is a bit tricky, it's pretty simple. It's very simple, I would say. So let's start by coding this. So let me initialize. Here we go. Include IO stream. Oops, sorry. Again, we are going to do this using C++. And yeah, let me also take using namespace std, using std cout. And yeah, seems good. I'd like to just mention one more thing. Now you can see here we have taken 2, 3. Practically, if you see, the difference between these two numbers 2 and 3 is -1, and here it's 1, but we have to consider both these numbers because the absolute difference here, as we can see, is 1, and that's what we want. So we will do this based on the absolute difference, and of course for that you need to include a package which is called C standard lib. There we go, looks good. Let's do the skeleton. Okay, so let's take an unsorted array into maybe A, and that could be maybe 3, 2, 4, 5. Some counters which might be needed: int ij, difference counter, and we can later define, of course, if we need them. And so now basically what we need to do here is ask the user to enter a difference value, whatever he wants. So what I would say is enter a difference value to find the pairs. There we go. Let's make it a bit pretty. Right. So whatever he says, let's take it in diff. Moving on. Now there's a fairly simple logic here. You have to find the different pairs among these elements, as you can see here, 3, 2, 4, 5. So what we can do here is we can take two iterators, and both of them will start from the 0th element, which is 3 in this case, as you can see here. and each iterator, for each iterator we will go on calculating the difference. If you can find that the difference between these two elements corresponding to the two iterators is the same, that is diff in our case, which we have taken from the user here, then just increment the counter and print the pair, or else just increment the counter again and move on. So as I rightly pointed out, we need one more variable, which is counter, just to give us the count of the number of pairs. It's always good you give them the count as well, so as to verify if you're going right. So moving on, here we go. So let's take the first for loop. So in this case we've got 4, so less than 4, but it's always good to be neutral. So if you want to make it more customized, just take an n, so it'll be an n here which will be taken from the user, but in this case I'm going to take 4 and I plus plus. There we go. Oops, yeah, that's better. Same for j. J is less than 4 again, j plus plus s. There we go. So now the loop looks good, and now we'll have the condition, the main condition, which has to be checked. Now if the difference between the two elements, we start from the first element here, if the difference between the two elements is equal to diff, then just increment the counter. So if a of I in our case is equal to a of j, I'm sorry, if a of I minus a of j, I do a lot of silly things at times, excuse me for that. And if this, here we go, I'm going to take an absolute function here, as I mentioned. If this is equal to the difference taken from the user, then what we do is we just increment the counter and print the corresponding pair. So in our case we have taken the counter variable, counter plus plus, and let's print the pair. See out, and here we go. Let's make it a bit pretty. Pair is, and there we go. Let's do it this way. Yep, looks good. And yep, a of I and a of j. There we go. Yep, looks good. And let's just make it look neat. So let me just put a line here. Perfect. Okay. And once this is done, as you can see, this is the loop where it begins and this is where it ends. So it will be processed out here basically, as you can see. And once you're out of the loop, you get the total number of pairs, which will be stored in the counter. So just print the counter. Sorry. Number of pairs found. And that's counter. Yes, it's good. And let's just put a slash in as well. Now it looks good. Yeah, now it looks good, fairly good. Again, I'll explain you the logic. So we initialized an array here, an unsorted array 3, 2, 4, 5. Basic initializations of the library as well. You take a difference value here from the user, store it in a variable known as diff here. Take 2 for loops, nested for loops. Absolute difference will be checked here in this case. And once that's done, if you get the difference between the two elements, that is a pair, it satisfies the difference value which has been taken from the user. Just increment the counter, print the pairs, move on, let the loop exhaust. Once it's completely done, just give the user a count of the number of pairs, which makes it look neat. So let me just go ahead and try to run this program. P++, sorry. Let me just check the name. Oh, it's diff.cpp. Okay, diff.cpp. Oops, what's there? Oh, that's a silly one. That's a silly one. It's as silly as the goals conceded by Liverpool. Okay, let me run again. Oh, what's wrong now? Oh, I forgot to save it. Let me just check once again if everything's right. Yep, now it looks good. Yeah, here we go. /a.out and save one. And here we go. You get all the pairs. 3, 2, difference is 1. 3, 4, difference is 1. 2, 3, difference is 1. 4, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4. So each pair has got difference of 1 exactly. And the number of pairs, as you can see here, is 6. So, okay, you want to check it. Let's check it on one more set of input. Let's say 2. And here we go. 3, 5, 4, 2, 4, 2, 5, 3, 5. Here we go. 5, 3, 3, 5, 2, 4, 4, 2. 4 pairs found. Yeah. And the difference, as we know, is 4. Sorry, 2. And the number of pairs is 4. So yeah, it's fairly simple. It's not at all difficult to code this problem. So I hope you like it, and stay tuned. I'll be doing my next problem pretty soon. So take care, cheers, and peace.